So, Ryan, let's talk about if you were a new LO or a seasoned LO, why choose PRMJ?
I mean, I've been with the company for 12 years now, and it's an ever changing experience, really. But the one thing that stays true to the core is the flexibility to do and run my business, which we all run business within a business essentially in this industry. And what I find most compelling about working at PRMG is my ability to run the business the way I want and what works for me. And I think the success is proof that what I'm doing works. And so I get the rope to continue down the path that I think works best for my market.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with that, especially when it comes to marketing. A lot of places are so strict, and you can't post anything on social media without going through corporate. And corporate pretty much gives you, the ability to do whatever you want,
Right.
as long as you keep our name in good standing.
Yep.
Just make sure we have our, stuff on our pages.
Of course.
And they also promote us to promote ourselves.
Yep.
Because like you said, we're a business within a business, right?
Yep.
So we don't have to all have the same generic website. We could also have, promote ourselves within a team.
Yep.
And, like the NJ lending team or, New Jersey mortgage rate,
Right.
Whatever the case may be. And
Yep.
they're fine with that because they understand that we're all, a business within a business.
That's right. Listen, we have a great compliance team. We have a great marketing team, and they give us the direction we need. They make sure we stay compliant. Truth be told, there's a lot of wheels that are spinning behind the scenes that are constantly checking and making sure that everything we're doing is compliant, but they do it at the speed of business. And that's the key, right? Like, you don't want to submit a request and then find out, I'd like to do this. And then a month later, by the time they get to you, it's like that idea is sizzled out and you're on to the next. That doesn't work. Right.
So I can't talk about the Fed cut rate a month later.
Yeah, exactly. So, moving at the speed of business is always key. And I know the compliance team. It's funny. No one ever likes to talk about compliance. It's not a sexy thing to talk about, but
No.
it's most certainly an important aspect of our business. Think about, you and I have been in this industry longer than we both probably want to admit today, but it's been more than a couple decades, and it's only become more difficult to originate a loan, become more expensive, and trying to make that process compliant but fast and painless is what the team behind the curtain is there for us every day. And it's not somebody that we are jumping up and down about, but deep inside, I think we both know the inside pushes the outside, and I think PRMG has a great inside. That's another, I don't know that this is really where I was headed, but I think as I say it out loud, I think that's another thing that I love about PRMG. People use the word culture almost too frequently, and it loses its meaning a lot of times. But I do think we have a great group of people that work together well, and we're all in it to do the same thing, is get folks in homes and becoming homeowners. So
I'm going to take that segue because just like you said, compliance isn't sexy at all.
Right.
But our processes is great. And
Yeah.
the way PRMG is always adapting
Yep.
to making things better, making it faster.
Yep.
And our inside people, like underwriters, they get such an ugly name, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're the underwriter
Yes.
said it wants to kill a deal.
Yep.
The underwriters want to approve loans,
Of course.
and get them closed. At least our underwriters do.
Absolutely.
I could thank, Michelle, Pam, Vicky, and
Absolutely.
so on and so on. You guys
Yep.
are all great.
Yeah.
So throwing them out there. Even our closing department, they'll
Yep.
jump in and throw out a CD for us and get our closing package, and they work tirelessly.
Yeah. It's all about creating just that synergy between sales and operations. If you can't create the barrier between the two organizations or sides of the business, otherwise you have animosity, and then animosity just builds a barrier that is restrictive to business. And that's why, we just came off of triple play. And we had our operations team down there by our side. It's a sales event, if you really think about it, but part of sales is operations. So we think it's key to have them there to meet the realtors and the referral partners that help us get our business. So having them by our side was great.
And better yet, the culture in that, right? Most, inside people, they work from home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they stay away from people. Our, staff, they want to come join us.
Yeah.
They want to break bread with us, have drinks with us,
Yep.
and all that stuff. So there's something to say about our culture. It really is very impressive.
100%. Totally agree. It's something that I think we work on every day, right? It's you constantly are just looking for ways to make sure that we're doing the right thing, but making both sides happy, because it's important, right? A lot of organizations, you could be one-sided, and you can have your ops team where they have all the power, and the sales people feel like they have no say, and they just have to do what the inside calls for, or you have it the other way, where you could have an organization where you have high turnover in operations, and you have sales folks that just rule the roost, and whatever the salespeople say has to happen because they're the producer, they're the ones that bring in, the loans, and it is important. Both sides are important, right? So you have to strike that balance, because allowing sales to run over your operations team and then having high turnover in operations makes sales even crazier, right? Because that's why I don't recall the statistic off the top of my head, excuse me, but there is a high percentage of employees at PRMG that have been here greater than 10 years. I dare not throw out a percentage just because I don't want to be way off, but I can tell you, having heard it not that long ago, I was really shocked, although I guess I wasn't, having been here as long as I have, to see the same people by my side. But it is a compelling argument that working at PRMG, it sticks. And I don't want to use this as an opportunity to be salesy, but the truth of it is, look at our branch manager population across the entire country. This is a sticky organization. When people come to work for PRMG, they come and they stay, and there's a reason for that. And it's not because we gave them a big sign-on bonus and put chains on their ankles and their wrists to keep them here, because now they've taken that sign-on bonus, and if they were ever to have to pay it back after taxes, et cetera, it just doesn't make sense. So they struggle it out where they are. PRMG hasn't built their business around the sign-on bonus being the reason for employment. They built their branch network and their loan originator network based on people's desire to be here. And we wake up every day and try to earn their business every day, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it, or how I approach my role. Every day I have to earn your business, right? We work together as a team, and if you call on me, it doesn't matter that we've worked together for 20 years or more. You can't just say, oh, well, we've been together 20 years. He'll be here tomorrow. No, he sure won't.
You know what my favorite is? And to quote Paul, boomerangs.
Yeah.
When they actually leave here,
Yep.
thinking the grass is greener on the other side.
Yep.
Within 6 months to a year,
Yeah.
they're right back here. Like, hey, sorry,
Yeah.
I made a mistake. And the open door policy is great. Like, hey, listen, we understand you made a mistake. Welcome back. As long as everybody leaves in good standing.
Yeah.
And we can think of a few people that has done so, and they just realize, oh man, they promised me everything and anything. It is nothing like it is like over here at PRMG.
Yeah, I mean, no place is perfect, right? And PRMG is not exempt from that. We're not perfect. We're never perfect. But you're right. There is, the boomerang thing is real at PRMG, and not only in sales and operations as well. We see people get wooed away by our competition, and when they get there, they find out it wasn't what they were promised, and so they come back. But the good news is, we treat, if someone decides that PRMG is not their home anymore, we don't go to immediate defensive mode and start playing the blame game on why you're leaving, or playing financial games, especially if you're talking about originators or branch managers or things of that nature, where they rely on that commission check to pay their bills. You don't start holding people's feet to the fire. You don't start claiming ownership to people's pipelines or claiming ownership to people's contacts. That's not the right thing to do, right? If you do right by somebody, good things will come your way. And I think that's why we have so many boomerangs. I know there's one individual in particular that decided to leave after being here a few years, and we, after leaving, there were some questions about their P&L, and we literally had scheduled phone calls after departure to go through the P&L and break down, where money was going, how money was spent, and going penny by penny to make sure that there was a full understanding of what the breakdown was. It's, where some organizations literally, I feel like I hear stories, I can't tell my boss I'm leaving until the entire pipeline's closed because they won't pay me my last paycheck. What?
Yeah,
That's
that's
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then so it's a tough world out there. So I guess working for people that you can trust is important, and trust that's a hard thing to build in this industry because we've all been burned, right?
Yeah, we all have been. On that note, that's another great thing that I love about this company, ownership.
Yeah.
Just for the example of what you just gave. I mean, they're down to earth. I'm going to try to get some brownie points. Built by originators, by originators.
Yep.
They literally walked in our shoes.
Yep.
They know what it is. Imagine trying to leave somewhere, needing that paycheck and not getting paid.
That's right.
So they know what we go through every day, and they're always out there fighting for us.
Yep.
Either for the products, for the technology, for everything, right?
That's right.
For a great example, one of, Gary, for example. I love our pricing, right, and our products. And he's open to listening to things, right?
Yep.
Like, hey, we're off on this. And he'll be like, okay. And he'll actually go and observe why we may be, or sometimes we feel like we are, and we're wrong. And, and sometimes he'll come back and say, you're right, this bucket could be fixed. Or he's like, listen, at this, you're wrong because you're not taking this into consideration. But they're always strategizing to making our pricing so good.
Yep.
Giving us different strategies such as caps and so on, and always trying to make like, all right, hey, Eric, your business is concentrated on here, you know what I'm saying? So let's see what we can do to modify that pricing to help you better generate and all that stuff. And it's just incredible, the stuff that they do.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, each person in the organization, each of our owners has their own contribution to the organization, and I can tell you that not one of them is ever closed-minded to anything you have to say. I mean, no matter how outlandish it may seem at the time, it will never fall on deaf ears. And Gary is a great example. I mean, running capital markets for a company of our size and the history and the resume that he has, he still never pretends to know it all. So I think he is a great example. And the little sales techniques that they share with us, that they pick up from all the conferences and things, the peer conferences that they have, and they know at the end of the day, we're all selling the same commodity, right? So when you hear on the street that there's some utopia on pricing, there's something wrong, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just not possible. I mean, in some cases, particularly in the non-QM space, right, as we break away from this GSE business and the non-QM, or what's being deemed as non-QM, is taking hold, and the market is growing every year exponentially. The rates are becoming more competitive. Their guideline boxes are expanding. Saleability across different organizations, they're starting to homogenize the underwriting guidelines, if you will, so that you can take that same loan and sell it to multiple places. I know we've been working very hard on that. Once in a while in the non-QM space, you most certainly can come across a standout price or a price that doesn't make sense. And sometimes that has to do with where the organization that is selling that is getting their money. And an example of that would be, say, if they're backed by an insurance company and they have large coffers of cash and they've decided that this is where they're going to invest their money. It's great. So, there's nothing bad about taking advantage of that opportunity where you see that best price, but just know that it's not going to last forever, because no one has limitless pockets. And again, we're not saying, oh, it's not real. Oh no, it's real. It's just a limited time only. You found the sale, so take advantage of the sale, but you just can never make a business decision around, right? Because we started this out by saying you're running a business, and you can't make a business decision because there's a sale somewhere. right? That's never a reason. It's not a good reason, in my opinion, my professional opinion, to start considering moves. You need to look at your bigger picture to make sure, am I doing this for one reason and one reason only? And the funny thing is, oftentimes when I find people start having indecision about, where they are, what they're looking to solve, when you really dig to the root of it, oftentimes it's more emotional than it is factual. And what I mean by that is when you start digging into the numbers and helping them see that one loan that you lost to that sale price, historically, it's literally a fraction of your overall revenue for the year. So don't get sidetracked. I know it feels bad at that time that you got beat on that one deal, but it really represents 2% of your annual revenue. And if you focus more highly on these other opportunities or money-making opportunities, you can make it back in spades because you have people at the top showing you where it's at. And that's what we focus a lot. At PRMG, they focus a lot on analytical data, passing it down through Power BI or Gallus now. Power BI was, see that? I've even dated myself.
There you go.
Yeah, we're now with Gallus, we have the ability to really drive into the numbers and extract, where the money-making opportunities are based on what your pipeline has been doing over the years. And sometimes business managers, you get so focused on writing loans and earning relationships that you forget to spend time at night because you finally got home and you're exhausted and your kids want to see you. But you have to find that time to dig into the analytics that are provided to you so you can make good business decisions.
That goes to another point. What about our technology? Just with like bringing in the Gallus and analytics, and our IT company, they're always working and making things better.
Yep.
I mean, the stuff that we started with when I got here in 2017 to today, there's always a new project to get in, and it's like they never stop and they're never satisfied, and it's always going on. It could be between making sure everything works with our CRM to with our pricing, so we don't have to log into 30 different things to, basically giving us all the products that we need to use and always moving on and moving forward. And I'm actually excited, I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say this, but if I'm not, you tell me and we'll edit this out. The AI calling.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a game changer.
100%.
Right? I mean, if you are a branch manager, and I mean, this is how I would use it, right? I would go and, I would actually start going, sending it to all these recruits and just say, hey, imagine this is what it's doing for me. And then at the end, actually say, hey, by the way, I'm AI. Imagine what other technology we have and how you can use it.
Yeah.
Right? To, go after realtors, to actually help realtors make more phone calls, because let's face it, it doesn't get tired to actually help them go get listings, where on that part they're like, hey, Erick's our go-to lender because he helped us, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
It's just the technology side just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the AI caller thing, and I don't think it's a secret. So I think we can talk about that one.
Okay.
It's funny you say that, and you and I haven't. This isn't rehearsed, right? We're off the cuff here, and I'm excited to hear that you share an opinion that I share, because there are some folks out there that are scared of it, right? They're afraid to allow the AI caller to call their consumer, or they're afraid to allow the AI caller to call their recruits for a number of reasons. You can draw your own conclusions on that. But I actually have the opposite opinion, which sounds like you and I maybe share that, which is I can't think of a better way to demonstrate to a recruit or a realtor that the technology that we're embracing is this good, that you almost weren't even sure that the person that called the thing that called you wasn't actually human, it was AI, right? And that I can employ this tool to aid you in your growth, right? And that's on the realtor side. On the recruit side, I would argue that if a recruit finds or doesn't like that you had an AI bot call them, then they may not be a good fit for where we're headed anyway.
True.
Because I would want the loan officer or the branch manager or the salesperson, I would want that salesperson to be so intrigued by that phone call that they want to talk to me so that they can find out how they can have that power harnessed to grow their business. And that's the person I'm after, personally.
100%. And if that person is so insulted that an AI was calling them,
Yeah.
what do they think? Everybody's going, one by one, sending them text messages?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're using a CRM. It's just bigger, better, and
That's right.
stronger. That's what we're doing it by.
That's right. I think it's a great show off tool. And I think it's AI is the future. I mean, you and I aren't young by any means. We're not old either, but
Yeah,
we're
I was
not
about to
young.
say, speak for yourself.
We're not young by any means.
Of course.
And so, adapting or understanding the ever-changing technology world that we live in is an important part of the business. There's always going to be hand-to-hand combat, right? In my opinion, at least in my lifetime, what happens after that, not my problem. But yeah, in our lifetime, I would say hand-to-hand combat's always going to be real. There's always going to be that personal part of our business that separates us from the rest. And sure, in our lifetime, in our loan originating lifetime, there will most certainly be a fully digital mortgage experience, and that will be right for some people. It's not going to be all the people. And so that's where, the bot can make the phone call and do the introduction, but, call me crazy. I don't know that I see regulators licensing bots. I mean, I say that as I watch the automated cars drive past buses. You see that all over the news with the automated cars are driving past buses with the stop sign out and the kids getting out. Like that in itself is dangerous, and I know they'll solve for that. But can you imagine putting a bot in charge of somebody's financial well-being?
No, it can't be done. Dude, think about it, though. We have a program, right? Mm-hmm. That is basically we have no control over. Mm-hmm. It's all AI generated. Mm-hmm. All we do is get, our client. Yep. We send over the link. Yep. They take a 5-minute application, and then within those 5 minutes, I would call it 5 minutes total, as long as you know your bank account, username and password.
Sure.
Right there, after it's done, an appraisal gets shot out, title's done, and you set up closing, and you fund right away.
That's right.
And that is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done that maybe 5 times, right? Mm-hmm. And out of the 5, 3 of them went great because it's just small loan. They were great clients. The other 2, if it's outside that box of just a little bit, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think you had great success with that because I'm hearing more like 9 out of 10 don't work on. But now
I figured out what kind of works and what doesn't.
I mean, you can usually profile, and the percentage is low, but for those that it works for, it's great. I mean, literally, you like you said, it's less than 5 minutes. It's click, 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 click. Know your passwords, know your logins. Mm-hmm. Approved. You want to close in a couple days? Okay.
It's not a couple days. It's a couple hours.
Yeah.
And you get funded right away.
Right.
It depends if it's an investment property or a primary property. Now, where does it get more complicated and where it doesn't read between the lines and where I don't believe we're getting zoned out in, and now we're going off topic, but is basically your FHAs. Are they going to be able to put an FHA deal together? Are they going to be able to do, a more technical, difficult DSCR and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Well, they have our underwriting that masters everything to help them get it through the finish line.
I hope there's no. Listen, there's certainly a lot of people that would say that our job could be replaced with AI. No, I say no way.
Oh, I say no way as well. I think this is like a cool tool. And by the way, the program we're talking about is just for our home equity line, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not for a total purchase.
Right.
Because there's no way. I mean, it just can't. There's too many tasks.
Yep.
I mean, it can, but it's just very cut and dry. And if the person doesn't follow along and give what they need, and we've been doing this long enough that not everybody fits in the same box, right?
No.
You have 10 people in this room, and all 10 people will be in a different type of loan or a different type of situation.
Yep.
And I don't think the minute something gets a little bit hairy, denied. Right. I mean, if that happens, our economy's done.
I could. Yeah, you want to talk about it screeching to a halt. Imagine if that's where we were, right? The success ratio of AI making decisions on loans. It doesn't. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't. No one has a crystal ball. I don't think it's going to happen, but
Me
hey,
neither. But we're getting
Yeah.
off topic. The whole point is our technology is damn that good,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Everybody thinks of, that company that has all the commercials and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. I guarantee you our technology is sometimes better than theirs.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's really that
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. We have a great team. I mean, to be honest with you, over the years we've bolted on or built such a web of technology optionality that in some ways I almost think we need to scale back. And 2026, I think we are going to look to take what has just become beyond robust. We're going to dig into the programs that people most frequently use. And then we're going to spend more time dialing those in and maybe get rid of some of the superfluous things that don't get used as often. Because let's face it, something you brought on 2 years ago that your adoption rate is 1%. It's going to. I'm sure the 1% they're not nobody, and certainly we don't treat them as such. And they will be those folks that are still using those older programs or systems or whatever it is. They'll get a heads up. But we need to move forward, and it is definitely time to clean house, and get things dialed in and get everybody kind of working on the same top platforms that allow them to be successful.
I agree. And you know what I'm excited for? It's coming right down the pipe. Not having to go into Encompass anymore.
Yes.
So if you're an originator and you
Yeah.
hate Encompass,
Yeah.
come call us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to talk about that too much, but yeah, I would say the teaser. I would
That's
say
it. We're just
I
we're
know, I know.
teasing. We're just
Yeah.
teasing.
I would say the teaser definitely is there is a new to market option or that's coming to the originators at PRMG, and it's gonna get them out of the old Encompass world that is just it's not fun.
No, it's not.
We'll
leave it as that.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's it's definitely it's a necessary evil. It serves its purpose from an operational perspective, from a loan sale GSE connectivity perspective. It serves its purpose, but from a sales perspective, we've grown and adapted over the years to interact with the loans in a different way. And so it's time for the origination platform or the point of sale to grow with us. And yeah, it's coming soon. In fact, it's already in test pilot with some of our core offices across the country, and they're giving it a once over, and then we'll start rolling it out in the new year.
Awesome. I think we covered most of it. So let's just end with, tell me one story that that made your experience at PRMG that great.
Eric, I don't know if there's one experience at PRMG in my tenure here that stands out as like this was the winning moment for me. Honestly, it's just the culmination of every day being a positive experience, right? Like it's hard to just after 12 years, I'm coming on 13 real soon here. It's hard after all those years to say, oh, this was the one time that just made it for me. It was just, I joined the organization. I saw the opportunity. I came on as just a salesperson. And then as we grew the market, I think I was literally the first salesperson in New Jersey when we became licensed, right? Because we're a West Coast based company. I think I started the organization weeks after we obtained our New Jersey license, and I started at the bottom, and we just kind of built out the area together in lockstep pretty much on everything we've done along the way. So it's definitely not just a one thing. It's just not a standout thing. And I'm sure as we end this, something will come to mind and some quippy little thing that I could have shared. And, I'm sorry to disappoint you with it. Not an exactly pointed answer, but it really is just a culmination of my years here.
Yeah, I think you couldn't answer it any better than that, man. It's funny where it started in New Jersey and where it's gone. It's just like night and day. And You've been here. What year did you start?
Whatever 12 years ago is. Don't make me don't make me do math right now.
2013.
13. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I
All
don't
right.
I don't remember if it was 12 or 13, but I think it was 13.
Okay. So it's and I got here at 2017, and in my 8 years, I can see how far we've come.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. So I could only imagine what you saw.
Yep.
So yeah, PRMG is where it's at.
Yeah, man. It really is.